Well, May 2024 was a bit of an improvement from April, but ultimately a roller coaster of a month. But let's see if the improvement continues into June. Brooklyn Guys clones. Well, we haven't had a video where a character clones themselves in a little while. I mean, sure, this plot has sort of been done before, but it's not as overdone as, say, literally anything involving the Junior X Penelope thing. That's foreshadowing, by the way. But right, this video. It was serviceable, honestly. I thought that some of the setup for each scenario went on a bit long, but I thought everything was otherwise okay enough. I'm sort of conflicted on this video, since while I think it was decent enough and several things happened, it also wasn't amazing, and upon rewatching it, felt almost thrown together. Each scenario with each clone didn't really feel like it had enough time to do much aside from one or two jokes that ranged from funny enough to just sort of okay. So this video is getting a 4.8 out of 10. It had some portions going for it, and while I didn't mind the video, I think that there should have just been more to this video, since as it stands, it just felt like it existed, but it had some funny moments propping it up. Junior Sports Drink. Now, I want to like this video since the idea is actually somewhat funny. It's just the fact that a good portion of this video was literally talking. The parts where this video actually did change from that, though, were pretty good. In fact, I think my favorite parts were the Judge Chris / Pablo / Poobie segments, in part due to the increasing absurdity of it all. So I'd say just under half of this video was decent, while just over half of it was a bunch of talking with not much else going on. But you know what? 5.5 out of 10. I thought this was a creative video with some actually pretty decent jokes, but unfortunately it was dragged down by the other portions of this video that were just a bunch of talking and ultimately boring to rewatch. I found myself wanting to skip certain sections of this video so that I could get to the actual entertaining portions. This video would have been better, arguably way better, if the segments with Junior, Joseph, and Cody talking had been compressed into about half of the total time of those segments. Jeffy the Spy. So with this video, some people said I was too harsh on it during the reaction, and that this video is actually pretty funny. And yeah, you know what? This video is pretty funny. In out-of-context clips, that is.
Why does it taste like that?
Because I pissed in it.
As for the video as a whole though, no, it's still annoying. Well, at least the first portion of it. I think the biggest problem to me is that the joke was more or less the same thing stretched out for about half the video. Then we have the prison scene, where the jokes could be seen coming from a mile away. I think the final portion of this video was actually pretty decent, although I think that was largely thanks to Chris as Vladimir Putin. So that certainly helped to drag the score up a fair bit to a 3.5 out of 10. Yeah, I'm sorry, I want to like this video, and I still think it has some funny out-of-context moments, but aside from that last not even 1/3 of the video, I can't say I really cared for this video since much of it was just the same joke. Junior's Big Playtime 3. Before I begin with this video, I just wanted to say how interesting it is that the Playtime videos are the last remnant of the iMovie music tracks. I don't know why, but I just think about that sometimes with these videos. It's almost nostalgic in a way, since Logan used to use these songs all the time back during the classic era. This video, however, is just sort of okay. More was done with this video than the previous Playtime video, though that honestly doesn't mean all that much given the low bar to surpass that video. This video wasn't mostly yelling, but it was still a lot of yelling. Also, I know we don't see Bootleg Toad much anymore, but I still don't care for him. Not even as a character, but more because I think he's going to take my soul. Yes, even more than Joseph. With all of that being said, this video was, passable? Some stuff actually happened in this video, and it wasn't just a shouting match for a bunch of it, and the scenes actually changed and were ultimately creative enough. Although, why were there 2 scene 9s? Not great, mind you, but okay. 4.5 out of 10. I thought the Papa Murphy scenes were the most creative, since Bootleg Toad acts like a mob boss more than anything else. The rest of the video, however, was just more of the same things we've come to expect from the Playtime series, for better and for worse. But at least it was condensed down more than before. I just wish this series didn't rely on the same couple of things like a bunch of yelling for all the videos anymore. Junior Goes to Jupiter. Honestly, I found this video kinda funny. I think I just like the back and forth between Junior and Cody after they realize they're stuck in the same place for literal years with nothing to do but watch Max Keeble's big move, which is apparently a movie for some reason. So that portion of the video was funny, but what about the rest? Well, I like the return of the aliens, also known as Rosalina's parents. Although, what's with this tractor beam effect? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's because Logan just couldn't be bothered, or because using this instead would be funny, which I mean, I guess it was funny. But also, why can't SML have really good effects most of the time anymore? Is that the joke? And then the first portion of the video, while not awful, wasn't really anything to write home about. This whole video is probably a 6 out of 10. I could understand where people would find the extended segment of Junior and Cody just talking to be aggravating, but I really thought this video was somewhat decent. Not amazing, mind you, but not bad in the slightest. Also, I really like Junior and Cody literally going insane and only being able to speak in the words Max, Keeble, Big, and Move. Summer School. Well, this video was actually pretty decent. Bowser Jr. is finally going to summer school like he deserves. We saw this new nerdy character named Cody, which I actually wonder if they're going to do anything with this character. This Principal Steinbeck guy was hilarious, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about the wrong SML Summer School video. You know, because we have to specify now. My bad, here's the Summer School video we're supposed to be talking about. So this video is a continuation of Cody Goes to Kindergarten, because like I said, we clearly need even more of that. This video was basically just them making a bunch of flags. We had Principal Steinbeck in here, who's... Okay, look, I'm sorry, but I'm going to make some comparisons to the original Summer School series. Principal Steinbeck's introduction in there was way better. Personally though, I think Principal Steinbeck's use needs to be dialed back a bit. As much as I like him as a character, and Lavelle's performance as him, he's starting to get a bit overused, and I worry he's going to start having the effect that a lot of SML characters that get overused do, where they have to up the absurdity of him more and more, and then they end up losing what made the character great in the process. In fact, that's already starting to happen. Principal Steinbeck used to try to act calm, though you could tell he had some screws loose, but only going overboard for a reason, even if the reason was dumb. Now though, he literally gets introduced with kicking doors in, which, as an aside, Logan needs to stop having the camera in a position where you can see the rest of the hallway, out to what a friend called the Bridge of Doom, since it breaks what little immersion is left. Logan needs to ease up on using Principal Steinbeck before he gets dragged into what I'll call SML's character absurdification, although that's kinda started to happen already. But right, the rest of the video. Again, they make flags. Now, these are supposed to be original flags, which I guess most of them technically are, except Cody's of course, and yeah, that's basically the whole video, come to think of it. 3 out of 10. I think there were some portions of this video that were funny, but most of it wasn't even awful, just boring. I get it, they wanted to do a Flag Day video, but most of this video didn't have a lot going on, so like the rest of the Cody Goes to Kindergarten series. But hey, at least this isn't going to be an ongoing series. Oh wait. Wow, if only there was a better summer school series or something. Unfortunately, I don't think one of those exists. The Father's Day Heist. You know, I could realistically sum up this video with one clip.
That's it?
Seriously, this video could have had so much going for it. In fact, it started to sound like they planned to do something similar, such as an actual museum heist, but instead it was just a bunch of back and forth arguing between Marvin, Brooklyn Guy, and later on Goodman. The heist, if you can even call it that, lasted a grand total of 30 seconds, and was then completely undone at the end of the video. 2.5 out of 10. We got some funny moments in here, but this was a nothing video where the whole thing was just a bunch of talking, and I'm wondering why this video even needed to exist. I mean, this could have been a perfect opportunity for more backstory between Jacques-Pierre Francois and Jeffy, or even could have been turned into an actually interesting video, but I guess not. The Purple Problem. Well, this video had a funny moment with Ronald calling Steve, where he literally yells at Steve in front of his grandkids loud enough that they can hear all the insults. I also found it funny you could see the names that were prepared for this, as if Ronald has a list of names to call Steve's grandkids prepared for just this specific occasion. I don't know if that was part of the joke or just because they didn't want to do a second take, but I found that pretty funny. I'll also say that the drive-thru scene was somewhat funny. And a scene where Junior, Joseph, and Cody discover a bread clip in the food, while entirely unintentional, was funny, and I suppose a blessing in disguise since it helped to balance out the video, since otherwise this video would have been heavily Ronald focused. Mind you, there's still a lot of angry Ronald, just yelling again. Ugh. Look, this one's a 4 out of 10. I thought this video was okay, but ultimately not spectacular, and much like Junior sues McDonald's from a while back, the funniest part was entirely unintentional. Oh right, the ending was actually hilarious though, with Ronald just standing in the doorway. And finally, we got a message from Logan at the end of this video, with Logan mentioning how he broke his back during the filming of a video. I seriously hope that he gets well soon, and that he takes a break from most filming, since he seriously needs to make sure his back heals properly. Speaking of that video, Jeffy's Fast and Furious. Now, like I said with the previous video, Logan ended up breaking his back during the filming of this, and I honestly feel bad for him. With that said, I don't give bonus points for behind the scenes things or what have you, so the score won't be artificially increased just because of that. So this video is actually not bad. Not great either, but I think part of that is because I've never seen Fast and Furious. So as someone who's never seen that and thus doesn't really get the reference, this looks to me like them racing a bunch of cars, along with Chris talking about family a bunch for some reason. Meh, 5.5 out of 10. Very middle of the road video. I like the new location, and I like the new camera angles and what have you, but ultimately most of this video was just them racing cars. It was cool for what it was, but as a video with an actual plot, yeah, it didn't make much sense. Like, you could tell there was a tiny bit of plot there, but not much. Maybe that's part of the Fast and Furious parody joke though, I'm not entirely certain. Jeffy breaks Marvin's back. Looking back on my reaction, I have no idea why I gave this video as high of a score as I did, since this video was just sort of dumb. Maybe it's because I was tired or something. But yeah, also this is a reference to Logan's back being broken, which it still is actually, and likely will be if he doesn't rest enough, but I digress. Otherwise, most of this video was just a bunch of talking with not much else happening. There were a couple of funny jokes in here, and Jeffy actually feeling some remorse for his actions was actually an interesting change, but yeah, that's about it. 3 out of 10. This video had funny moments, and I don't think it was the worst thing ever, but upon rewatching, you quickly realize that this video was mainly just talking, along with a couple jokes sprinkled in there to try and make it actually funny, which, to be fair, some of the jokes did make me laugh, just not enough to save this video. Junior's assumption. I kid you not, I've actually lost count of how many of these dumb Junior x Penelope videos where Junior makes a crazy assumption happens. I know there's been at least 5 up to this point, although probably more. That's right, 5. We've had 5 of these videos with nearly identical plots, and most of them have been recent. Oh, but wait, that's okay. This time they changed it up slightly with a Groundhog's Day style loop with Junior dreaming. First of all, this was pretty obvious, especially at a certain point, but was it funny? I mean, a little bit, I guess. Now, was it funny enough to save this video? No way. This video was a slightly funnier version of the previous videos where Junior has an assumption and just sort of runs with it. In fact, I'll say that these videos are some of Junior's most annoying, at least as of late. I've heard people say that modern Junior is the most annoying he's been in a long time, and honestly, I can see where people are coming from, and these types of videos highlight that the most. Is Junior being a jerk out of nowhere for no reason aside from his dumb assumption that he has again? You know, for at least the 5th time in a row. And if this had been one video, it would be whatever and I could write it off as a bad video. The problem is that we've had nearly the exact same plot so many times now, and it's just obnoxious. But Right, a score. 2 out of 10. I'm giving some points back because there were parts of the video which I thought were actually funny, but for the most part, this was already a bad video concept, made worse by the fact that this has been done so many times now, which also docked the video points. I mean, seriously, if this is going to be the extent of the Junior X Penelope bit, then Logan just needs to end Junior X Penelope entirely, because this is just so obnoxious at this point. Jeffy's Ding Dong Ditch. This video was stupid. Not good, not bad. Just stupid. So guys, the whole joke is that they do Ding Dong Ditch, but Jeffy's too dumb to run away in time. Or at all, for that matter. And, well, there's this scene with Brooklyn Guy thinking it's a giant game of hide and seek, which was funny enough. And then the Nintendo animation was actually a highlight since it was sort of interesting. But after that, well, the ending was... Actually, no, the ending was just stupid again. Okay, yeah, this is just a 3.5 out of 10. I don't get what the point of this video was, though it feels like a sort of video that Logan made just to say that he did something. Like, sure, if this had been creative, that would have been cool. Here's an idea. Have them start doing Ding Dong Ditch, realize it will take forever and overstay its welcome, so Cody invents something that will ring everyone's doorbell simultaneously. Eventually a bunch of characters get fed up with this, so they go to find whoever is doing this, take the issue way too overboard, and then both groups realize that it's stupid to take things as far as they did. I think there was almost the start of that in this video, such as with Brooklyn Guy or the Hucker Dudes taking things a bit further than they should have, but this ultimately doesn't go much of anywhere. Alright, now it's time for June's final score. This month is going to get a 4 out of 10. Again. Yeah, this month remained more or less stagnant from the previous month. I will say that the difference between this month and May was that May had a lot more ups and downs. A couple pretty good videos, while also some really bad ones. Meanwhile, this month had some decent videos, and maybe a couple not very good ones, but ultimately it wasn't awful, but wasn't great either. If anything, the problem with some of June's videos is that they felt like they just existed and nothing more, which is, as I've said in the past, almost worse than a video being bad. At least bad videos are memorable. You know, unless it's like that Junior's Assumption one, which will just be added onto the pile of dumb Junior X Penelope videos. There were a few videos that just felt boring, or some videos that were legitimately bad, but saved at the last minute by something decent in the video, such as Jeffy the Spy. I think most of the rest of June's lineup just lacked anything interesting, so instead they decided to fill time with, well, more talking, with Summer School or the Father's Day Heist being notable examples of that. I worry that Logan's approaching, or already at, that mid-year lull in video quality, but I'm hoping that Logan will rely less on filler and more on making interesting videos, though who knows. Also, I do hope that Logan gets well soon. Well, that's all for now. Thank y'all for watching, and take care.
He's just standing there, menacingly!